What is up, everybody? It's Dynamic here, and welcome back to another MLW video. We are here today. We're going to be talking about some MLW trades that I believe may or may not go down. These are just some trades that, in my opinion, if they went down, they'd be good deals for some of these teams. And based on certain circumstances that have yet to happen, these trades could be something that these teams could look at in the future. I think right now the league is too close to make any super big moves. But I have 3 trades lined up that I think would relatively make sense for these teams in MLW. So if you guys like this content, if you like MLW content, make sure to subscribe, man. I've been stuck at like 600 subs for like months now, man. I got to get up to 700. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later. And yeah, I love MLW. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you love MLW too. So just subscribe. Alright, so for today, we're going to start with some trades that are probably a little bit more boring and then move on to trades that are more exciting. So I think the most boring trade we're going to do is a trade between the Mallards and the Cobras, which I could see happening. And it's pretty much the Mallards are going to receive Flynn from the Cobras, and the Cobras are going to receive Davenport from the Mallards. Now, why do I think that this is not only a good trade, but a trade that will benefit both teams? Well, first of all, the Mallards aren't really having any use for Davenport. He's been on their team for about 3 years now, and they already have, obviously, Jordan Robles and Trey Flood, 2 pretty good pitchers. Obviously, Jordan Robles is super elite. Trey Flood, I'd say, is one of the better second options, but they also have Preston Colm to look to if they need a third guy to step in there, and Davenport has missed 2 series, so I think it's just time to deal him now. Flynn, however, from the Cobras, it's kind of a similar situation. He's missed both these series at the start of the season, and they don't really have a need for him anymore. They have Esch, they have Kwiatkowski, and Flynn doesn't really do much, I think, for the Cobras, especially culture-wise. Here's the thing, though, about this trade. I feel like Flynn would fit really well on the Mallards. They could use him when they needed to. However, I feel like if Davenport went to the Cobras, he would be one of those guys that gets rarely used. However, they're rarely using Flynn now, and I don't think Davenport is a better pitcher than Drew Davis per se, but I do believe that if they got Davenport, it would open up some avenues to maybe try some different things along the way. Alright, so for my second trade, a trade that I think is probably medium of the road when it comes to like how interesting it is, it's actually a 3-team trade between the Predators, the Magic, and the Eagles. So I'll say the entire trade right now, and then we'll go through what each team is giving up and receiving. So the Predators are going to receive Jordan Kurdi from the Magic and a first-round pick from the Eagles. The Magic are going to receive Brendan Russell, and the Eagles are going to receive Trevor Bonham and Rudy Ramirez. Now, I feel like we need to start with the Magic for this trade because they're the ones that are giving up some things, but I think they're getting back something better than what they're giving up. They're receiving Brendan Russell from the Predators, who is a solid hitter, and I think he just needs a change of scenery. And all they're giving up is Jordan Kurdi and Trevor Bonham. Those are 2 guys who haven't shown up this year. They're 2 guys who have been on the Magic for a while, and I think just need a change of scenery. And also, with Trevor Bonham, they already have Brady Pearson and John Paul Gunn. Those are 2 guys who, can pitch. They're both the second arms, and they're kind of competing for that. And I feel like Trevor Bonham's kind of the odd man out because you have, obviously, John Paul Gunn, Brady Pearson. You also have Grant Miller, who can fit into that second arm, and then, obviously, RJ Walgate. So there's not really a need for, like, a 5th pitcher on this team. And then when it comes to Jordan Kurdi, I think you're just kind of replacing him in the same way that you're replacing Trevor Bonham. And then, obviously, Brendan Russell, he's a very solid hitter. He's a good player. He hasn't been playing the best, I feel like, but also what the Magic need is just a veteran hitter to come in there and kind of just step up and bring things up to a new level. So I think that could be something that they could look at. As far as the Predators, they are just giving up Brendan Russell and Rudy Ramirez, 2 of their hitters, and they're getting back Jordan Kurdi and a first-round pick via the Eagles. Now, obviously, Brendan Russell and Rudy Ramirez, that's a big chunk of your hitting, and I know I've said before that the Predators really need to work on their hitting. I get that, but Jordan Kurdi was not bad last year. I mean, I think he batted somewhere between like 200 and 300. He was pretty decent. Now, he doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but he can connect with the ball. He doesn't walk a lot either, but once again, he can hit the ball decently. He's a guy that if he's in your lineup, it's not the worst thing in the world, and also they have an abundance of hitters that they could use instead of using Jordan Kurdi. But really what we're looking at this pick is the first round pick via the Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles are 8th in the league right now, so that pick would be very valuable. I don't think they're going to finish there, but I think that the Predators getting an early first-round pick and using it with their first-round pick could be something huge. I mean, they could trade both those picks to get a high pick. You know, it's just there's so many things that they could do with that I think it's worth the risk to get rid of those two guys. I don't think Brendan Russell and Rudy Ramirez are going to be a reason that you're winning the championship. Lastly, the Eagles are just giving up a first-round pick, and they're receiving Trevor Bonham and Rudy Ramirez. They're having, obviously, some issues with that second arm with Evan Trackman. You know, I think he'll bounce back, but I don't think it's the worst idea to get a veteran pitcher. Even if you still want to play Trackman, maybe you can play Bonham with him. Try and learn from the vet. I mean, that's something that I'm always going to be in support of, something that you can clearly do, especially if you're the Eagles. It's just something that makes sense to me. And then Rudy Ramirez, obviously, he's going to help with the hitting on this team. Now, does this team really need hitting? Kind of. I mean, you're going to have that fourth guy. It's usually going to be either Carson Jurgitis, Trackman, or Carter Richard. And Rudy Ramirez, in my opinion, is probably better than all three of those guys. So, in my opinion, for Eagles, maybe it's not worth the first-round pick because that's a huge pick. But, I mean, if you're really trying to continue the championship dominance that you had last year, they need to start making some moves. And the last trade I have is in between the Diamondbacks and the Predators. Now, this is a pretty big trade. It's also probably the least likely trade, and some Predators fans would be probably telling me, well, why would they do this? Why would they do this? Well, I'll explain it in a second. But the Diamondbacks will receive Levi Fleer from the Predators, and the Predators will receive Jacob Pyszka, Casey Bennett, and a first-round pick in 2026. So why would this trade ever happen? Well, let's say we're in a point where the Diamondbacks just need a guy who can hit the ball really well. They have a lot of mediocre hitters, but in my opinion, nobody who is consistently hitting the ball super well. I think Jacob Pyszka can get there, but I definitely think Levi Fleer would definitely help them. And obviously your first round pick in 2026, if you're trying to go and win it all, that pick's not going to be super valuable. So I think that's something they can give away. And for the Predators, this is something I could see where, kind of like last trade, they need some more bats and stuff like that. They get Pyszka, they get Bennett, they get a first round pick. Now they have a ton of hitters that they can go to if anyone is, you know, struggling or anything like that. And Pyszka is probably not that much worse than Fleer, so that's somebody that you can insert into the lineup right away. And then obviously you're getting that first round pick, super valuable. It's kind of the same strategy I had with the Predators in the last trade, where I think they need to build some draft capital. So it's just something I think they could go to. I don't think they're going to be trading Levi Fleer. Obviously he was the rookie of the year last year, but if they did, they'd be getting some good assets in return. Alright, so that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment what you think of these trades. If you think any other trade could be possible, you know, comment your trade down below. I want to take a look at it. I'll try and respond to all the comments. And yeah, just appreciate y'all for making it this far into the video. Make sure you subscribe, and peace.